Hey there, paper crafting friends. I am going to give you a tour today of my small but mighty scrap room. So if you have a small space that you are working with, I thought I'd share with you a little bit about how I organize, just in case you are looking for some ideas too. So when you first come into my room and close the door, off to the left is where the closet, if this had been a bedroom, there was a closet here. So we put in some shelves that run the whole width of the closet, and I use those to organize all of my paper organizers. So you can see I have quite a few, and then when you get down to the bottom, there's just some other storage. So I have lots of things kind of in there, bags, extra trimmers, and then these containers over here to the right hold all of my stamps and thin cuts, and I will show you that organization system at another time. So I'm going to kind of scan back up. This is the containers that hold my layouts that I've completed ahead of time but do not have photos on them. And then when you go this direction, going from left to right, the first several containers have printed papers in them, and they're organized by color families. And then there's a few more that are organized that are solids. These you can see are labeled by category. So when I have a paper kit or some leftovers that go well together, I try to organize them into these categories so I know where to look when I'm scrapbooking a certain subject. Okay. Moving to the right, I have a rolling cart that holds my Cricut, and then there's drawers that hold my 12-inch paper scraps. Those are organized by color. And then the top shelf is a big tray that organizes all of my Kiwi Lane templates. And the containers to the right hold my Kiwi Lane class templates. If I keep going to the right, I've got a big paper display that holds a lot of my 12 by 12 solids. And I definitely am a rainbow-oriented girl, so a lot of my things you'll see are organized that way. On top of this big paper organizer is where my washi tape lives. So the piece that's hanging on the wall is actually an antique floor grate, and the spaces in it are perfectly sized for rolls of washi. But then of course I have more. So I've just got some big jars that hold my really tiny rolls and then my fatter rolls. And I really need to quit buying washi tape. When you turn the corner, there's just a bookshelf, and starting down at the bottom are some idea books, and then some organizers that have different things in them, punches, some extra tools, my stamping blocks. The next thing up is a Your Story laminator, and then some stamping supplies. Then I've got my Big Shot and some embossing things, and a little tiny TV that has a built-in DVD player, so if I want to sit in here and watch chick flicks and ignore my family, I can do that. Hanging on that wall, I've got a couple of shelves. Those are just some big mason jars that have flowers organized by color. And then the stamp pad holder is from Stamp and Storage, and that's just my close to my heart stamp pads are in there. And then of course my big Kiwi Lane sign that goes to shows with me. And just kind of, I do store a couple things along the floor, which I try not to do, but it happens. That's just a board I use for filming sometimes. And then tucked behind that shelf, you can see a bag kind of sticking out. That holds all of my Chalk Couture transfers, because I really needed one more hobby. And then over here, leaning against the floor, are some paper stacks and things that I am working on for classes. Okay, so this work surface, it's kind of hard to show you, is actually a custom kitchen countertop that I ordered from a laminate countertop place. And I was able to order it to be just the right size to really maximize the space in here. So this big countertop is held up on the sides on each corner by like a 12 by 12 by 3-ish, something like that, shelf. So each one of those shelves has stuff in it. So this one has some card making kits and things on the bottom, a big pull-out container filled with envelopes, and then the top, that's funny, my M&M stash, and then a few things that I have available to chalk on, some tiles and some wooden slats for little signs and things that I make. This other side is holding my Cricut Easy Press, some random tools, and some work mat, and close to my heart cutting tools. This is at the end of my work surface, and I just found a little rolling cart that fits just perfectly in this space, and this is where I store the rest of my chalk couture stuff. This is where all my inks and pastes are, extra little containers of pastes, and then surfaces that I've got to chalk on, and little projects that I have pending to work on. So that's all stored there. I'm going to show you my work surface. So there's always stuff on here. I almost cleaned it off for the video, but I would have been lying if I'd done that. So these are classes that are waiting to go to people, projects that I need to return, stuff that I need to work on, albums I need to put away, things like that. And then my big light for filming, and then just a light for working, and a little tool bag. Okay, and this is where I typically sit and work. Right to the left of my workspace, those are close to my heart paper kits, and then leftover scraps from Kiwi Club kits, plus my calendar that I work on monthly. Then I've got all my Tim Holtz Distress inks. Those are organized in tins by color, and then I have daubers that are organized by color to match, some extra markers and daubers, things like that. And then this is just a random tub for twine and that. And then over to the right of where I sit, there's an organizer for like memorabilia that I would pull out for different pages. That's organized by date. All my extra tape and adhesives, foam tape, Xyron, all that kind of stuff, just on those open shelves. I'm going to turn behind me. A couple more of those shelves. So now we're on the opposite wall, and that is a whole bunch of stickles organized by color. And then my small collection of Spectrum Noir markers. That's going to grow hopefully pretty soon. And then shimmer tapes and things like that, shimmer pins, a bunch of lanyards from Scrapbook Expos, because I'm the dork that collects the buttons and gets the lanyard. And then Quick Quotes inks, glitters, and color burst powders. And I'm going to show you this shelf real quick. So on this one I've got my label maker and my iPad sitting there charging. This is a lot of little doodads and containers to the left, and then ribbons and flowers. And then the right, that's all of my ribbon containers. I keep them on flat little spools and organized that way. These drawers hold my small paper scraps, anything smaller than a 12-inch scrap. And then the bottom shelf are just some random containers with bling, sequins, jewel dots, Sharpies, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. So that gives you an idea about how I organize my space. And if you have questions for me, please feel free to go ahead and just put those in the comments. I would be happy to help if there's something that you're trying to figure out in your space. But I am really glad that you popped on today and that we had a chance to take a look. I hope that I get to see you guys again soon. Have a super day. Bye-bye.